I actually didn't get any Indian education, barely, like what they have in the textbooks, like a half a page.
I do not get Indian education in my school. We usually do it like on a Columbus Day.
Language class or the arts class, which you kind of just went into, oh, I'll just go in there and make a basket and pass the time.
If you want to take a culture class, you have to sign up for it, you know, and in high school it was a struggle for both me and her, not knowing the culture around you.
Because there's two histories going on at the same time. We all know Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492, but none of the non-Indian population know about us.
The spring of 2003, at a conference at the Quinault Reservation, I asked the tribal leaders what did they really want, and their response was teach Washington State Native American history and culture in the common schools.
So you should know where you come from, and you should know about your heritage, especially Native American heritage. It's not taught in history today. I mean, you hear about Benjamin Franklin, the Bill of Rights, but you never hear about Chief Joseph or any of the Native Americans who really founded this country.
House Bill 1495 is a bill that was passed, and what they are encouraging is culture, Native American culture in the classroom, being implemented in regular history class.
It's significant because you've never had a piece of legislation that made it a requirement, an expectation of classroom teachers and administrators, superintendents, principals to really take this idea of tribal culture more seriously and not see it as a fifth wheel and a four-wheel risk. It's designed to benefit all students in Washington State.
I think House Bill 1495 will help change stereotypes because there's a lot of Indian students that don't know their history and culture, and there's a lot of border towns that are right next to the reservation that don't know the history and the culture of the people whose lands they're on. We have such a rich history, and we knew the area before there was any contact, and so I think that they have a lot to learn from our teaching.
It'd be really cool for non-native schools like elders from reservations around here to come in and just like maybe even for just a day. Even if they just got to drum for like a little bit, just see how much fun it is and like learn a little more about our culture, I think they'd be like a lot more understanding.
I just think this is really important for Native students and non-Native students. Students who are involved in their own learning care more about education and do better in school and life. One of the best ways to learn something is to learn it by teaching others. These projects are things that the students are doing that talk about their own prior experience and their own tribal history to provide information for the public schools on local tribal history. This is terrific for non-Native students as well, because it brings to their classroom some of the rich history that happened right in their neighborhood that's still happening today. And they get to talk to local representatives of the local tribes and learn from the elders and from the youth what's important about those stories.
Sielpchen te Ennet, George Adams, Quins, Sna Ichtachunitamchen. My name is Sielpchen, and George Adams is my English name. The reason why we incorporated the songs is more than just, picking up a drum and start hitting a song. And what I essentially brought to the kids is why there's more things involved than just singing a song. It has history behind it, has meaning behind it.
I saw the students doing their presentations and singing their songs. I could see how powerful this summit is to them and to us as a people.
What we forget, we always are. What we remember, we can change. And what we want to change are the stereotypes and misinformation that other people have told the story of tribal people. What Denny was earlier describing about the only time that people think about tribal people is during Thanksgiving or during Christopher Columbus or the Hollywood. And it's always stereotypical. It's always a gross misrepresentation of who we really are.
Like when I'd go to basketball camps around here in Washington, I don't look Indian, but people always ask me, "Oh, where are you from?" And I'd say Spokane Res, and they would be like, "Oh, do you guys still live in teepees?" It's like, no. I think more people need to know about our culture and our history and just not see us as the negative stereotypes we're portrayed as today.
They can't just be thinking that every Indian rides horses and sleeps in teepees and fishes salmon, because there are different cultures that have their different history of what they did and how they hunted and what they slept in, how they lived.
That's how we used to live. We actually live like you. But yeah, we have electricity and everything.
The bill is also to help break down some of the prejudice, some of the misinformation that is out there about Indian country. We're not mysterious. We're not privileged. We're not any of that. We're just common people within Washington State.
You're all here because I see that you want to learn. And learning is a part of leadership. There's a leadership quality.
The summit is helping me become a leader, just showing me more things about my culture. Like, I was learning stuff about my tribe that I didn't even really know.
I think it's important that they're here learning about their culture. You know, we're learning songs, we're navigating through internet sites, we're helping them with PowerPoint presentations. These are all very basic skills, but it's important that these are second nature to them, just because to most students out there it already is. Talking in front of crowds, presenting PowerPoints to professionals, those are skills that, you know, are going to help them survive.
They're going to use some of their ideas that they come up with here and actually implement them in the schools that they're going to be going to. And I feel that that's going to raise their confidence just by having other people know the truth about them and about our culture.
I think it's critical that our young people are involved in the development of our curriculum, the tribal communities. They're not only our future, but they're our present. So we want to hear from them what they're experiencing and what they want to learn about, what they think is important. So I think that's a critical piece for us, is to make sure that we empower our young people to be able to participate in such an important event, so that in the future their work will be used for future generations to come.
From outside the house they heard.
Our kids are on the right path and have given opportunity in public schools to express themselves, their history, the oral tradition, which is not in books, it's not in curriculum, that they come to school with this prior knowledge of their culture, history, their genealogy, their language, and yet they're not honored in the schools. And I think they got that message that yes, it's okay to express themselves in their culture.
Our story isn't being told, and this is what House Bill 1495 is also about, is talking about who we are and where we come from, and telling our story the way we see it, not the way the dominant society sees it.
I feel House Bill 1495 helps me because it's a way for me to learn my roots in public school.
The way that this bill will be successful, and hopefully it is successful, is that we have the youth in schools backing it.
Are we going to be able to get rid of all the issues that tend to plague the relationship between tribe and non-tribal jurisdictions? I don't think so, but it should make it easier, because as more and more people learn about who we are as a people and what we stand for, they tend to understand and they are more sympathetic.
Well, I watched each group give their presentations and their renditions of how they perceive themselves interfacing into the community. They did a very good job. I'm really proud of their work, and if that's any indication of what's to happen in the near future, I could feel at rest with the notion that we do have a chance of survival.